Hello YouTubers, it's that time of the YouTube channel, I guess, where I pointlessly show you a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book for no reason at all, and then I show you a Captain Underpants book, which I review directly afterwards. Today, we are reviewing Captain Underpants and the Perilous Plot of Professor Poopypants. This is probably the most inappropriate title yet, but don't judge it for that. It's going to reveal action, laughs, and... never mind. Yeah. So. Yeah, screw it, let's start the... So we start off with an introduction where George and Harold show us a mini comic that catches up on everything that happened in the past 3 books so far. But I hope they either read the past 3 books or watched my past 3 reviews, so you pretty much know all that by now. And then we move on to our regular introduction, which introduces us to the 2 main characters, whose names are George Beard and Harold Hunchkins. George is the kid on the left with the tie and the flat top, and Harold is the one on the right with the t-shirt and the bad haircut, and they walk past a beautiful sign, and they switch the letters around and make it sound disgusting. Meanwhile, in New Swissland... Why do they change to New Swissland? Anyway, in New Swissland, if you didn't know it, everyone in New Swissland has a funny name. Like Chuckles, or Stinky, or Jiggles T. Chunky Stunks, or Tipper Q. Zipper Dipper, or I wanna go to the bathroom, and Professor Pippy P. Poopy Pants. Speaking of Professor Pippy P. Poopy Pants, he just created 2 brand new inventions. One is called the Shrinky Pig 2000, and the other is called the Goosey Grow 4000. The Shrinky Pig 2000 shrinks things, and the Goosey Grow 4000 grows things. You may wonder what it's for, as children will probably just take advantage of it and grow to massive size to defeat their bullies, or shrink down to smaller sizes to win all of their hide-and-seek games. But Professor Pippy P. Poopy Pants has a better idea. These are actually a pretty smart idea. With the Shrinky Pig 2000, he can shrink giant piles of garbage to the size of like a Q-tip. Cotton. The cotton on the edge of a Q-tip. Yeah. And the Goosey Grow 4000 can grow food. I already found 3 problems here already. Number 1, why did he grow the hot dog so big that it would break the walls? Obviously he can control it, as we see him controlling it later in the book. Number 2, why does the Goosey Grow like zerd out lightning when the Shrinky Pig 2000 just shoots out like a laser beam, but they still do the lightning up above the machine? And number 3, why does Professor Pippy P. Poopy Pants... Do you know that name's kind of getting a little bit strange now. I'm just going to call him, Professor. Why does Professor look so different here? And bonus, is Buttercup Gizzard Sniffer a real guy? Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. Here's George Beard and Harold Hunchkins as they walk past a beautiful sign, switch the letters around, and make it sound disgusting, and then they're caught by Mr. Crump. Mr. Crump bans them from going on the next field trip, and whoa, take a look at those teeth. Oh my god, those creep me out. And he does worse than that. Why are his teeth back to normal? Never. Okay, while they're staying back at school from the field trip, they get to clean up the school. God, those teachers are mean, aren't they? George and Harold instead decide to have some fun. It's kind of funny how, like, Yes, they're still pulling off the gag of Purple Dragon's Sing-Along Friends football team, but they're not changing the letters around on the sign. Da 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 da. It's time for a prank time with George and Harold. I'm just stealing the melody of Super Mario, aren't I? Anyway, so this is actually pretty cool. This is a prank that you can actually pull off. So like they tape. So like, do you have one of these faucet things? If you don't, I'll show you one right now. Okay, you push down this button. So they tape it down on the button so that when someone turns on the sink, well, you'll see what happens. And they put some powdered paste on the fan. Ooh. 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 Okay, I'll shut up now. And they put some worm-shaped styrofoam into the refrigerator. And then the teachers come home, and then they're teasing them, and then blah, blah, blah. I brought a pizza, and I ate it like anybody cares. Then Mr. Mio turns on the light, which turns on the fan. And then they turn on the faucet. And then the fan puts the powdered paste onto everyone. And then when Miss Ribble goes to check on if the kids check their diet soda, then the things go everywhere and then they get stuck on them. And now imagine being in Mr. Fide's shoes and looking out the window and seeing this. Mr. Fide claims that he's seen way too bizarre things over the past 3 books. Oh, you don't remember any of them? Okay, flashback time.
There he is. So then George and Harold burst out laughing like there's no tomorrow. And then Mr. Crow jumps out the window getting ready to fight crime. Gym teacher gets eaten by a talking toilet. George and Harold are just making cat and dog noises to try and convince their science teacher, Mr. Fide, that he's hearing things and needs to go see a doctor. He tries to...
Oh, you remember now? Oh, great. And so Mr. Fide is free. Free like a waterfall. But Mr. Krempo unfortunately now has to find a new science teacher. And who's not a better science teacher than Mr. Professor? No, actually, it doesn't sound silly enough. Okay, fine. Professor Poopypants. It's so sad how he finally finds a teacher who thinks that children are so innocent, and unfortunately, that happens just in the middle of the 21st century when children aren't so innocent. So when Professor Poopypants admits his name to the classroom, expecting that they would be fine, seeing as, look at them, they're doing just as silly stuff already. But, Professor Poopypants decides to give them a second chance, and a third chance, and a fourth chance. It's such a shame. He's such a nice guy. He's such a nice guy. It wasn't really his fault that any of this stuff that happens in the book up to these events happen. But you see what happens at the end of the book. It's so sad. He's such a nice guy. If only he, like, I don't know, changed his name or something. He manages to distract them for about 3 seconds, which is actually a new record, since he couldn't distract them at all, with his new invention, the Gerbil Jogger 2000. Why wasn't... That looks like Sulu, kinda. You don't know who Sulu is yet, do you? And it's time for a boring English class. Oh, I know! Let's make a brand new comic called Captain Underpants and the Pied Pooper of Piqua. Is that a real place? Why do people always save, like, copyright or notices till the end of the books and TV shows? But probably people will just, as soon as they see it, they'll just go straight to the whoever's in charge and not really listen to the whole thing. Oh, Professor Poopypants, Professor Poopypants, got a copy, didn't he? Wow, those are terrible special effects. What's he doing there? Whoa, my God. And the poor little boy tries to tell his mommy, but she won't listen. Okay, what can we learn on this page? Professor Poopypants is in a giant gerbil jogger. He's holding the Shrinky Pig 2000. He's shooting a laser beam at the school. Absolutely nothing. We actually don't learn anything until we get to this page. Da 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 da. It's time for fun time with Professor Poopypants. Ba da ba ba da ba ba. Okay, kids, today we're taking the first letter of our first name and then finding it somewhere on here. And then we take the word beside it, and that's our new first name. Okay, kids, now let's move on to chart number 2, where we take the first letter of our last name, and the word beside it is the first half of our new last name. And then finally, we take chart number 3, where we take the last letter of our last name, and that's the second half of our new last name. And there you go, kids. You now have your new name. My new name is Buttercup Toilet Buns. Actually, that's not that bad. But hang on a minute. What about Professor Poopypants? Doesn't that mean that he has to change his name too? Why didn't he make it so that, like, if your first letter was P, then your name is... I don't know. Anyway, so, I guess Professor Poopypants' new name is, Doofus? Hamster? Fanny. Doofus Hamster Fanny. And then we end on a cliffhanger of the chapter, and then we move on to the next chapter, where we start off with an introduction that introduces us to the two main characters named Fluffy Toilet Nose and Cheeseball Waffle Fanny. Fluffy is the kid on the left with the tie and the flat top. Cheeseball is the one on the right with the t-shirt and the bad haircut. And they oh wait, they're trapped in the school, aren't they? Do they have any choice, really? I mean, like, it may be hard to notice if you're inside the school since everything appears to be normal size, but they are super small. So they have no choice, really. They have to call on Captain Underpants, and for the first time in their life, they willingly snap their fingers in front of Mr. Crump. And so Captain Underpants, Buttercup Chicken Fanny, wait a minute, Captain Underpants is a funny name already. Okay, Captain Underpants, remember, he does have superpowers. He is super strong. So anyway, Professor Poopypants, just the Shrinky Pig 2000, at the Goosey Grove 4000, and Captain Underpants, who is already small enough. And now, remember, George and Harold are super tiny. They're half the size of a blade of grass, and the Goosey Grove 4000 is smaller than them now. And since Captain Underpants was also caught in the beam, imagine how small he is now. So they climb onto the roof of the school to try and bring it back to their normal size, with epic failure. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. It's time for survival time with George and Harold. Hey there, kids. Today we're going to teach you what you have to do if you're falling from somewhere when you're super small, or falling even when you're normal size, I guess. It just depends on how high you are. You will need a Goosey Grove 4000 and a piece of paper, and the knowledge of how to make a paper airplane out of that piece of paper. Step number 1. Make the paper into the paper airplane. Step number 2. Grow the paper airplane. And step number 3, climb inside. Remember, this paper airplane is technically normal size now. Wait a minute. Why didn't they just change their position in the air and then grow themselves? Then as they grow, their feet will just touch the floor. They won't have to fall anymore. Well, anyway, they're gonna die, aren't they? Oh, no, wait, no, they're not gonna, oh, wait, they're gonna die, aren't they? Oh, no, they're not gonna, oh, they're gonna die, aren't they? Oh, wait, no, they just land safe and sound. Oh, wait, they're gonna die, aren't they? Wait, what? Oh, that's the super tiny Captain Underpants, isn't it? Oh, there's Captain Underpants. Look at him, he's just that teeny little tiny dot. Anyway, so, remember, Captain Underpants is this small, and George and Harold are already small. Okay, let's grow him back to normal size, then. Actually, that's not a mistake. They actually just returned Harold's hand to normal size. It may seem big to them, but they're already small, so this is Harold's hand at normal size. So technically there's a walking hand. So it's like that. That's my little hand, and it's just walking, and there's a little me trying to support the weight. Remember, Captain Underpants was in the same beam as Harold's hand, so he grew by the same amount as Harold's hand, but he's still small that he can barely be seen. So I just grow him again and again and again. Leads into the extremely graphic violence chapter. You're gonna have to buy the book to see what was going on, because Dave Pilkey wants money. That's why I made the books. You can't just watch my videos for free. But anyway, the Gerbil Jogger, what was it? Like 2,000, 4,000? I don't know. And then, there's Professor Poopypants. Yay! Oh yeah, they don't have the Shrinky Pig 2000, so they can't shrink Harold's hand back to normal size. Oh wait a minute, they have the Goosey Girl 4000, and they aren't supposed to be this size anyway. And I said that Harold's hand is supposed to be the same size as it should be. So they just zap everything but his hand. And there we go. And let's just do that. Grab the thing, do that. And there, that's pretty much everything. Oh, yeah, of course, right, Captain Underpants. Okay, there, that took care of that. And poor Professor is taken off to jail. But he decides to change his name. Named after his grandfather, Tippy Twinkletrousers. We learn anything on this page either? Nope. Except we know that Dr. Diaper is still not at the end of his sentence. So George and Harold decide to keep the Shrinky Pig 2000 and the Goosey Girl 4000 as a souvenir of this adventure, just like they kept the last 2/3 of the superpower juice from their last adventure. This is the first book where they actually have two morals. That you shouldn't make fun of people's names, and the old classic don't hypnotize your principal, because if anyone does this, you'll be forced to cling on to your principal's cape and say, "Oh no," and your best friend has to say, "Here we go again." Or your best friend says, "Oh no," and you say, "Here we go again." Oh, and they're sorry if they made fun of your name. As always, this book was brought to you by Dave Pilkey, the creator of the entire Captain Underpants series. Read the books. Enjoy the books. Read the spin-offs. Enjoy the spin-offs. And I'll see you next time where I review the 5th book. Captain Underpants and the Wrath of a Wicked Wedgie Woman. I'll see you there. Ugh, goodbye. 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 Get rid of that.